Hi, friends, foes, and countrymen. First of all, I'd like to welcome quite a few new subscribers to both my YouTube channels. I'd like to welcome almost all of you because I noticed a couple of trolls have subscribed, so I need to take care of that. But for those of you that have subscribed, I've got very small channels, but I'd like to get them up to 1,000 subscribers each, Angela Power Disney and Angie Power Disney, because then I can investigate or look at this live streaming thing and embed live streams and different privileges. I don't monetize. I did originally monetize my small channel years ago, but I've been notified by YouTube, unsurprisingly, that the whole channel has been deemed unsuitable for advertising, so that's fine with me. I'm kind of early doing my February update, and I might do another one by the end of the month, but I just feel there's so much going on. I kind of got that, I think it's that Jeremiah scripture says, if I don't get this truth out, it's like a fire burning in my belly, you know, I've got to speak, kind of thing. So, where to begin? I wrote myself some notes because, okay, yeah, I feel badly for the people. I did a Facebook live stream about fraud upon the court, and it was very good information, and I subsequently viewed the documents, but I'm still waiting for them to be forwarded to me in a redacted form so that I can actually post the legal jargon, the legal premise on which I shared what I did. I've also seen the letter where it has been accepted formally by the state, so it will go forward in one form or another. So yeah, apologies for that. It is going forward, and I still am waiting to get the documents. Yeah, difficult subject. My favorite thing to do is to empower adult survivors or contribute to rescuing children. Probably that's the main one, because something many survivors feel led to do is to try and make sure that other children don't suffer unnecessarily or in a fashion that we have. There's a balance to that. I really admire Mickey Summers and a lot of the Nottinghamshire and also the Shirley Oaks. So many of the children's home survivors, they've managed to stay focused on their own case. And in doing that, they've inspired other survivors, and they've built a really firm foundation. And, by trying to resolve their own case, even after decades and decades. So I want to take a leaf out of their book, and I'm trying to focus more on taking care of unfinished business in my own history. But at the same time, any of you that follow me know that I'm passionately devoted to trying to find Gabriel and Elisa and make sure that they're safe, and if they're not, to free them and get them safe. So it's just been a case I've had difficulty letting go of. I don't know how I went there, but anyway, the Miles Johnston debacle that's going on. I did some very gentle, kind expose stuff which upset Miles hugely. I've got them, I think, on my YouTube channels, saying that there was an issue with porn, and saying that he had disclosed to me about abuse at boarding school and then killed the video. He disclosed to me, first of all, in a restaurant when I stayed at his home in Devizes. He disclosed, and then I asked him, would he be willing to go on camera and put that disclosure on camera. He agreed, but it was his home, it was his camera, and he killed it. So he ended up releasing the video with just the introduction, the video wasn't about me at all. I was interviewing him about a disclosure that he'd made to me. But anyway, I can really empathize with people coming out of cognitive dissonance and, you know, desperately not wanting things to be true. And, you know, I'd also shared, I think, on a Facebook note about what Max Spears was going to do an interview with me, and I kind of was in a bit of chaos and I kept deferring it, and I really wish I hadn't, but we were messaging about it. And one of the things he'd said to me was, the porn thing goes much deeper than anybody realizes, Angie. So Marie Kayali is doing a series of daily expose of Miles Johnston. It's not a pleasant process to go through, but if you sit on the fence too long, you get a spike up your ass, basically. And the thing that turned me, even though I'd had my suspicions, I'd voiced them, you know, Miles blocked me and took my videos down, then he put them up again, and then so on and so forth. And I was really, really hoping that, like millions of adults, he had a porn habit, and who am I to judge somebody's addiction as long as it's not about children, and so on and so forth. But Marie she used to be a forensic accountant or bookkeeper or something. She's very talented at research, and she's releasing some very damning evidence. She's released, I think it's 400 websites connected to his IP server, and I'm sorry to say they include snuff movie sites, and although most of the sites seem to be about adult porn, there are some which indicate, I wouldn't click on this, of course I wouldn't click on the websites, but I read the titles of all of them. And some of them, you know, almost certainly pre-adolescent children, schoolgirls, and very unpleasant, very unpleasant. But I do feel I need to follow this story closely. I have been transparent about my observations. I have some more suspicions about who all is connected to this, and believe me, it's international, I suspect. But I'm not going to voice those at this stage, because we can't just voice suspicions. There has to be, you know, more than, you know, preferably more than two witnesses that have grave concerns, and there certainly are regarding Miles right now. So, kicking and screaming, I'm coming to definitely at least asking the question, was Miles, amongst many others, placed to harness any disclosures that might come from mind control experiments, and so on, the same way I suspect Esther Ranson Childline was put in place to filter and capture children's home survivors disclosing, and then in one way or another either discredit or pacify or redirect them so that no real momentum could be gathered in people's disclosures. Many people know Miles came to my home with Kathy Morgan here because I didn't feel comfortable enough to have him. He didn't stay in my home. I got him a hotel room in the town, but I felt sufficiently agitated not to want to do the interview on my own, and Kathy Morgan stepped in. Where was I going with that? Gosh, it's hard to stay on. Oh, I know what I was going to say. So I did about hours and hours of filming, but one of the when I talked about perhaps one of the most distressing early childhood memories of being hunted, Miles in the description box said I was hunted by aliens, which was ridiculous. And I just wonder, was that part of the agenda to ridicule and discredit? And I know Richard D. Hall has spoken up about that possibility. Marie Kayali is definitely voicing that more like a probability to her. And Sandy Bergen was on record with me doing a video, feeling very much as if she had been handled into giving an interview to Miles and so on and so forth. So that's just a sad and sorry unfolding tale that I just felt I should mention. I don't know Marie very well. I don't tend to, it's not my field, ETs and aliens and abductions and so on. So I don't spend a lot of time in that field. But as I say, I am following her disclosures, and they are pretty explosive, and they are pretty much evidence supported, which is sad. I did feel badly a little bit for Ben Emlyn Jones. I have never met him, but I followed some of his work. He's done some great work interviewing children's home survivors, particularly Brian Clare, many times. So I don't endorse name calling and humiliating and so on and so forth, but you know, so I was a little bit uncomfortable with that. But the whole journey of people being exposed and coming out of cognitive dissonance and facing ugly facts, you know, as it pertains to Miles at the moment, is just messy. It's uncomfortable. And I pre-recorded an interview with Ben a couple of weeks ago, which is going to be aired tomorrow evening on his, the links are on my Facebook, and I'll probably upload it to my YouTube channels afterwards. So, you know, I try not to judge people unless I've had personal experience of them and more than myself have grave concerns, but this Miles Johnston thing is definitely falling in that category of grave concerns, and it's a bit discouraging for survivors. I attempted twice last week to make a comprehensive video of summarising the evidence about the suspicious circumstances of my sister's death, whose name is Fiona. I titled it a bit, unfortunately, with hindsight, because I said Fiona MK Ultra murder ? And there are rumours swirling around that Fiona Barnett has been murdered, and I don't believe that's true, and I pray it's not true. I believe that is a credible witness who has suffered hugely with persecution from government-sponsored and funded forces determined to shut her up and shut her down. So, but I had recording issues. So twice I did the whole video, and once or both times I wasn't recording properly. So that's probably down to me and not down to anything nefarious. So I will either redo the audio or video, or perhaps more effectively, I might do a blog and include the introduction video of the graveyard, and then fill in the facts in black and white. Sometimes when you see something in writing, it takes the emotion out of it and it shows you the stark facts of the case, which are extremely suspicious and warrant, at the very least, a judicial review. And probably a exhuming of the body and, you know, a proper investigation. Much of the evidence has been spoiled. Much of it was not preserved by the police. And even I went into such shock at her death that I didn't think to take photographs or you know, instruct or request the Gardaí to treat it as a suspicious death. So I haven't forgotten that project to be finished. Yeah, Edward Ellis, I've met him face to face, maverick genius, wonderful, amazing legal mind. And I was at a dinner party with him a couple of years ago. And you know, his main claim to fame is he was the person that invented the ability to sign documents online. And it was stolen by Tony Blair and the UK government, which, if you listen to Abel Danger and Field McConnell, it's very common for patented inventions to be stolen by the governments or commandeered or so on and so forth. So Edward Ellis is a genius, persona non grata, legal mind that just never quits, never stops trying to get justice. He's not still, I don't know if he's still battling the alleged theft of his patent by Tony Blair, but he's certainly battling many, many injustices on a huge scale. And he had a court case in the Royal Courts of Justice today and yesterday, and these 12 supporters in the public gallery were forcibly ejected. Forcibly ejected. I think Nilu Berry refused to allow lies to be told about her niece's horrendous, death in a hospital in the care of social services in the UK. And when she refused to allow the lie to stand in the court hearing, not only her, but 11 other supporters were forcibly ejected by security from the public gallery. Unbelievable. So it's probably too late for people to head there today by the time I upload this, but if it's going on again tomorrow, I would strongly urge people, anybody that's around London or can get to London, to go and support them. They were shifted at the last minute from Court 11 to Court 12, and there's all sorts of illegalities about that. No recording, and it's like a cat and mouse thing. It's awful. But so that's that update. Jake and Sabine were invited in for another little chat at Holborn Police Station by Steve Martin, DC Steve Martin, for Sabine on alleged breach of her bail conditions, which would have been catastrophic and put her back in prison. But it was not proven. There was no evidence. And Jake was not arrested or maliciously sectioned again, and is working on his own actions, which are pretty detailed and very important. I'll just leave it like that for now. Arthur, it has got a release date, so please pray for him. He's due to be released on the 14th of March. He will have spent a year sectioned for whistleblowing on the Hampstead case. And other things, but mainly that. He was trying to mount an evidenced case against the Crown of England. He's an Australian. Well, he's Lebanese, but living in Australia. So I think that's it for now. I'm working on a project which is very detailed and important, and I'll do another update probably in a week or so on that. But welcome to my new subscribers. To anybody that's watching but hasn't subscribed, please do. I want to get both channels up to at least 1,000 subscribers. Greetings from Ireland.